This chapter was definitely the most annoying one so far. Why, you might ask? Because after finishing the whole video I decided, maybe I should follow your advice from the comments and actually use Wheel of the Wind more often, at least for the Soldier's Grave area, and see if I can get better results, because on Soldier's Grave mobs kind of reset quite a lot and they are pretty spread from one another, so maybe Wheel of the Wind would give me better results. So was it all worth it, testing the area again? I'm going to leave you guys to decide that for your own at the end of the video. So in case you didn't notice from the thumbnail, today we're going to be discussing about Soldier's Grave and Gahaz Bandits and see where these two areas stand in terms of skill experience. Now, before I get into today's discussion, I would actually like to add a few things or correct from the first video. First off, you guys most likely noticed this one yourself, but I kind of forgot to type on the details part of the video that I actually use 100% weekend experience, and that would add up to the normal 222% that I used. It could cause confusion to some people because it isn't displayed on the screen, but it isn't that hard to figure out where the experience comes from. After that, there's the comments and again the Wheel of the Wind skill, which for the first few tests I admit I didn't use it that often because I didn't find it that useful, but I guess I said in the beginning I did retest Soldier's Grave using it, and it was a little bit of a difference to say. Most of the time I don't use it because it uses more MP and more stamina, so I figured I'm better off spamming shotgun. Maybe I was wrong, maybe not, everyone grinds in different ways. The point was that as long as my clearing speed stays consistent throughout all of the videos, you can pretty much scale them up or down to match your own clearing speed, so as a result mine doesn't matter that much. As long as it is consistent, I could grind slow or fast and it would be the exact same result. And now, last but not least, my gear, which may not be so relevant, but for the first three areas, so Soldier's Grave from today and Fadus and Mansham from the previous chapter, I actually did not have an extraction gem. I recorded the gear afterwards, and for the first three areas I actually had a precision gem in that spot. It may not be so relevant because I didn't really have any MP issues, at least until I got to Soldier's Grave, so still it's worth mentioning, you should keep it in mind. Today I have an extraction gem, back then I did not. With these somewhat irrelevant details out of the way, if you guys find any more inconsistencies or stuff that I could correct, just leave a comment and we can discuss about those in the next video. So let's start today's discussion with Soldier's Grave, because why not? It was the third area tested, so let's just take them in order. By the way, if you notice that I might sound a little bit different, it's because I am just sleepy. So anyway, Soldier's Grave, when I came here I honestly was already expecting to get very high skill experience values. Because prior to anyone ever mentioning Fadus at all, Soldier's Grave was the default area that people would always recommend as having very high skill experience values. And of course, as I already know, the normal experience is pretty bad in comparison. But as a result, I came here with my mindset already made that this place will probably turn out to be the best one. So first let's discuss about the old tests, so we can have a number to compare to the new one, the one after Wheel of the Wind spamming. So for the first two runs I'm going to have the screenshots in the background. Probably by now they should be done slideshowing, so you have an idea about what I'm talking about. You can pause them if you want. So the first two runs were of exactly half an hour each, and converting the values to per hour, I got on average about 1 skill point level up and 85% experience per hour. Then I got about 0.507% normal experience per hour at the default 222% experience rate, so already, as you can see, quite low normal experience, and about 4151 trash items per hour on average. Already from these you can see that the normal experience is bad. It's kind of half of what you get at Vaduz, which in the first place Vaduz is not a place to have good normal experience. The skill experience, however, is actually very good. It's the best I got so far, even though these are the old screenshots. And in terms of loot, I would say like for these 2 runs I didn't get that lucky. I did kill 5 elites from the first half an hour run, and 6 or 7 I can't remember from the second run, so I just managed to kill some elites if they were in front of me. If not, I wouldn't exactly search for them myself. And I did get a few blackstones, 6 from the first run, 3 from the second one, obviously from the elites. Overall 7 million in trash items, not that much in the rest, so probably a bad run to give you an estimation for the money income. Now, leaving these behind, let me move on to the new screenshots. I will admit that I only did one test of exactly 20 minutes, the screenshots are probably already in the background. I could have tested this further, but at that point I was just simply too stressed out or annoyed that I had to delete the entire video, so I only did a 20 minutes run just to prove that, actually at that point I wanted to prove that Will of the Wind would make no difference, but I was proven wrong. So out of this 20 minutes run, again converting it to per hour, it turned out that the trash items I actually got less, so I got 4065, so with the spamming Will of the Wind I did not end up getting more trash items. However, I did get more experience and more skill experience. More precisely, 1 skill experience level up and 94% of the next point. And in terms of normal experience, I got 0.534% experience per hour. So just slightly higher values. Overall, nothing groundbreaking. I would say it's just slightly higher. The mobs here reset quite often and they are quite spread, so yes, Will of the Wind did help a little bit with that. I will show again the 2 screenshots so we can talk about the money income, because this time I had nothing in the inventory in the beginning. So from this run I would say I was quite lucky, because I think almost every single elite was alive and I killed all of them. I would say maybe 10 or more, I didn't exactly keep track, but I did get 4 forbidden books, 7 blackstones and quite a bit of armor pieces. So this run, even though it was only 20 minutes, I can't convert it to per hour because obviously the elites would not be alive again, but you can expect probably 12 millions plus from this spot in terms of money per hour if you do get these elites alive, let's say at least this amount once per hour. Now, we are already quite far into the video and I've talked kind of a lot about Soldier's Grave, so let me try to wrap up this area. The rotation, I wasn't exactly doing a very clear one, just simply circling around the entire grave, trying to cover or trying to kill monsters constantly without exactly following a specific path. You can see on the map somehow how I drew it, a circle around the place. Besides that, I would also want to mention that when I came here to Soldier's Grave, I noticed that for the first time, I think I hit the next soft cap for skill experience, because I was getting 1 skill point per level instead of 3. So instead of getting 3 by 3 the points, I would get, today I get them 1 by 1. So I did a short retest of Vaduz, again 20 minutes. You can ignore this one if you want. I'm just proving that after hitting this soft cap of only getting 1 point per level up, I went to Vaduz, I did this 20-minute run, and it did turn out to have almost the same, if not exactly the same, experience values and skill experience values. So in the end, I think the skill experience, I keep messing this up, I think it scales exactly the same after you get only 1 point per level, so that shouldn't be an issue on the following videos. With that being said, I think I can move on to bandits. Maybe I should mention that on the first 2 runs without the extraction gem, I actually did have a lot of MP issues on Soldier's Grave. For the first run, the first half an hour, I even remember how I had to grind 1 minute, so for the last 1 minute with no potions at all because I just ran out of those, and overall it wasn't a very nice experience, I would say. Even though I have extra large potions, it was still not enough because if mobs reset, I don't recover any MP from them. So as a ranger, I think this place is not exactly very optimal. I'm pretty sure my wizard would get much higher values because my wizard just one-shots the group without the monsters even having time to reset. So again, talking too much about this spot, let's move on to bandits and see how that place compares to these three that I have tested so far. So let's see what I got at bandits. When I came here, I already knew that the cliffside rotation is actually the best rotation, so I did my best to try to find this one empty and test it. In the end, I did 2 runs, the first one of exactly 28 minutes and the second one of exactly 20 minutes. I believe they were shorter because of weight limit issues, at least for the first one. And converting the values to per hour, I got about 5160 monsters killed in this time, so this is my clearing speed. This time I had Marnie stones, so it was pretty easy to keep track of how many monsters I killed. In terms of loot, I got 4/4, so 4444 trash items per hour. The skill experience, which is the most important one, is 1 skill point level up and 73% experience, which if you are familiar with the Fadus value, which you just saw earlier, it is actually just slightly higher than what you can get at Fadus, which was actually quite surprising considering the fact that the normal experience here is 1.4, let's say almost 1.5% experience per hour, which is already about 50% more than what you can make at Fadus. So Fadus was recommended as a place to have very good skill experience, but it turns out that Bandits already has better skill experience than Fadus, and so we can stop talking about that place because at this point it's not competing anymore. In terms of loot, I got 1 scroll from the first run, and amazingly I got 3 scrolls from the second run, so 3 scrolls in 20 minutes. I would say from my past experience here that you can probably expect to get between 12 and 15 millions per hour. That's what I usually average when I come here, but then again that's with at least giving my pets some time to loot from the ground. So just keep that in mind. It should be a very good area, and at this point I already understand why this is a very populated place, because the skill experience is very good, the normal experience is amazing, especially if you use Marnie stones. And actually, talking about the Marnie stones, I did turn in some of them, and if a place has Marnie stones or not, it makes no difference because you get 0 skill point experience from the Marnie stones. So yes, you get a lot of normal experience, but the topic of this series is skill experience, and in terms of that, Marnie stones are irrelevant. So in the end, to make a conclusion of today's video, because while I don't care if it turns out to be too long, in the end some people do. So Soldier's Grave, pretty nice place. It has a lot of skill experience potential. The normal experience is very bad, it's the worst I've seen so far, and the drops there seem to be pretty decent. The bandits area is actually pretty surprisingly good. The normal experience was very good, I already knew that, but the skill experience, I wasn't expecting it to be higher than Fadus, to be honest. The money income, as I said, 12 millions or more, probably, depending on how fast you clear. And let me know in the comments, guys. I know most of you grind bandits every now and then. Can you get actually 5160 monsters per hour killed at bandits? Because if you can, then you are as fast as me. If you get more, you are faster, and so on. To end it, I would mention the rotation. At bandits I had to extend it a little bit, so I added some of the groups next to the villa, and then the circle part that goes on the Shakatu side, so basically extended the cliffside rotation more because I actually needed more monsters. And at On this area at Bandits, I actually did have the extraction gem from the beginning, so no MP issues at all, and I did spam shotgun more often, or most of the time, because in my opinion in this place mobs are just simply placed better for shotgun. I mean, I can one-shot them with a shotgun and I can move faster. At least it seemed like that to me. So let's end the video. I will see you guys in the next chapter with Cadrys Ruins and I believe Desert Nagas, two areas that again are pretty contested. Cadrys not so much, but they have the potential to be the best for skill experience. At least I believe Nagas can be. So thanks for watching. If you made it this far, I appreciate it. Sorry for making this slightly longer than it had to be. In fact, it's slightly longer than the original version of this video. So have a good day, enjoy the rest of your day actually, and maybe leave a like if you enjoyed it, but dislike if you thought the series is not good enough. Maybe I can see you in the comments. I kind of feel like the engagement is not this high these days, and it seems like YouTubers have to ask for this in every video, which I don't like to do. But anyway, whatever the case will turn out to be, I will see you guys in the next chapter, and until next time, see ya.